everyone. My name is Aster, and I'm a gymnastics coach. So some of you may know me from various groups. I put some feelers out asking some of my friends and family if they wanted to see a stretching video, just like an introductory guide. So I coach from preschool up to rec level 3. I also coach Xcel Gymnastics, which is a side-along program. Different from JO, but they do similar skills. So yeah, I wanted to show you guys the stretches that I do with my kids every day. Some of them are going to be a little different. I'm going to try and show you some modifications and modify stuff based off of your skill level. In order to follow along with this video, you don't have to be a gymnast. You don't even have to be athletic, okay? Stretching is good for everyone, and while I'm not a doctor or anything, I can definitely say that stretching has helped me a lot with, everyday aches and pains I get, usually muscular. So yeah, just please remember that that while stretching isn't always the most comfortable thing in the world, it's not supposed to be painful. So if you feel anything really painful or you feel like your muscle is about to be pulled or anything like that, stop what you're doing and rest. All right, let's get started. So the first thing I like to do is I like to do twists. I call it washing machine. I put my arms like this, and then I go side to side. These are some of my dynamic stretches that I do. Most of these will be static stretches, but I wanted to show you the ones I start with. Then I do arm circles, backwards and forwards. I like to put my arms like this and do scissors with them. Then I like to reach up to the sky, and again, because I'm a gymnastics coach, I'm going to be going farther than you might be able to, which is completely fine, okay? Just go as far as you can go safely. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to keep my knees straight, but I'm going to make sure I'm not locking my knees. So my knees aren't going to be locked like this, they're going to be like this. Straight, but not locked. Then I'm going to reach down and try to touch the floor. I like to get my hands flat on the ground. Not everyone can do this, which is completely fine, but just try your best. Then I bend my knees, keep my hands flat, come up and try to go as far as I can with my hands on the ground. Bend, come up, hands flat, bend, come up, bend, and now I'm going to sit down in a butterfly position. It's this. My feet are kissing. My body is upright. I'm going to keep my chest up, and then I'm going to fold over. Try to smell my toes. If you can just go this far, that's okay. One thing that I've noticed helps me stretch better with this stretch is to keep my spine straight and aligned, and then to go down. I actually feel more of a stretch with my head up and going down with my lower chest than trying to just curl down to the ground. Then I go here. I like to flex my foot, grab it. If you want more of a challenge, you can try pulling your foot off the ground and face to your knee. Then the other side. Pull. Go down as far as you can go. Then I get both feet. So a lot of people like to do the pike stretch, which is this. This is called a pike position. A lot of people like to do the pike stretch with pointed toes. I prefer doing my pike stretch with flexed toes because I have very flexible joints, and I don't feel a stretch just going down with pointed toes like this. I only really feel the stretch if I'm pulling my feet off the ground. Okay, now I'm going to do a straddle. I put my legs like this in a straddle position, chest up. Let me turn to face you guys. Hands to the side, I hug my belly, look at my arm, and fold over. Other side, look at your arm, fold over. So keep in mind you want to hold each of these stretches for at least 10 seconds. For this stretch, I like to flex my feet up to the ground because again, I feel the stretch better. I grab my foot and I put my face down and I pull my foot off the ground. You can do it with pointed toes or flex toes. I just prefer with flex toes. Other side. Now you're going to reach up. You're going to reach towards the ground, fold like a pancake. If you can just get your elbows to the ground, that's fine. If you can only get this far, again, that's fine. Just try your best. Then I go all the way down. My toes are pointed for this part. And then I like to flex them up to the ceiling and go down a little farther until my face can touch the ground, and then point again. Now I'm going to show you guys some basic ways to start learning your splits. This stretch I do with everyone, except for my little preschoolers who are like under 4. If they're under 4, I usually don't do the super difficult stuff. But basically, your pike stretch and your straddle stretch are going to help with your splits. And remember, if you can't go all the way down, that's completely okay. I'm going to go down, back farther. I usually like to put my bad leg in front, which is my right leg. You'll notice that one side of your body is a little bit more flexible than the other, or a lot more flexible depending on who you are. My more flexible side is my left. So you push down. You want to make sure that your knee doesn't go over your toe like this, because you can injure yourself doing this. Just go like that and then just push. I try to balance. Some people also try to get their elbows to the ground. I feel like this stretches differently, but not necessarily better. Then you make your legs straight, and you put your face down to your knee. Some people just keep their hands here. I try to reach for my front foot. You can flex your toe if you want to get a different stretch. And then I slide out. So I keep my toes pointed for the splits. You hold it. If you could only go this far, that's all right. Whatever you can do is what you do. Eventually, if you keep practicing, you'll be able to go like this. And you're also supposed to, once you've improved at your splits, bring your head back and stretch back. I don't have a very flexible back, so I can't really do that. But like the back of my hip and my back aren't really as flexible as I want them to be. But again, we're always growing and learning. Other leg, same thing. Push down. Another thing I like to do with my splits is grabbing my back leg, trying to balance. I think that might be a yoga pose. Face down, flex, point, and slide. So there are different variations that you can do in your splits. You can bring your face down to your knee. You can put your head back. Make sure your hips are square and your body's in a straight line. You can bring your arms up. Coming out. Okay, now we're going to do a straddle split or a middle split. It looks kind of similar to a pancake stretch that we were doing on the ground, but the difference is your butt is up. So I'm going to go here. I like to slide into it, going for a straddle, but a lot of people aren't quite able to do that for whatever reason, usually flexibility and strength. So I'll show you guys the easy way. Put your feet here, and then you point your toes, and you just slide out as far as you can go. Try to turn your toes out. Make sure your butt is on top, and your legs and your bottom are all in a straight line. If you want a challenge, try to turn your toes out as much as you can and make your pinky toenails touch the floor instead of your big toes. Coming out. Now I like to do something called a seal stretch into a scorpion. So I sit, head back, bring my hands under me, and stretch. Feet together and pointed toes. Then I put my feet apart and bring my toes to my head. Again, my back flexibility is not what it used to be, and I'm still working on regaining it, so this is as far as I can go. I also come back down and try to look behind me and look the other way. Then I go into a kitty cat stretch. You stick your booty up in the air, and you push your shoulders into the ground. Your armpits into the ground. Now it's time to warm up our wrists. So I open my book, and then I put my hands on the ground, flat, with the inside of my arm facing outwards, and then I sit back. If you don't get much of a stretch doing this, another way you can do it is by turning your hands like this, like a butterfly, and then kind of going side to side. That's how I get a better stretch. Then I do the other way, put my hands like this, and put my hands down. Stretching your wrists is very important. Then I go like this, go side to side, and make sure when you're doing this stretch with your wrists facing out that you don't bend your elbows. It's going to be hard at first, but if you're bending your elbows, you're not going to get as much of a stretch as you could. Then I like to put my hands together and kind of roll them around. Now we're going to do something called a bridge. There are many ways to do this skill. One thing I like to lead up with, if you can't quite do a back bend bridge, is a tabletop. So you put your feet here, hands behind you, and you push your belly up and make a tabletop with your body. This is going to stretch differently from a bridge, but if you don't know how to do a bridge quite yet, this can help you learn. And then I like to bring one foot up, the other foot up, and down. Now I'm going to show you guys the real bridge. You guys are going to lay down. You're going to put your arms here, right next to your ears. Not everyone can do this skill. It takes learning very early how to do it to have ease in doing it. So just do the best you can. You go here, and then you push up. You want to try to keep your feet together. The first time, I just try to get my feet and hands as close together as I can, and I rock back and forth, pushing my shoulders over my wrists. Then I come down, nice and slow. That wasn't as slow as I wanted it to be, but you should do it nice and slow. The second time, well actually, let's do our rock and rolls first. You rock back and forth like this. The second time, you want to try to push your legs straight. You bridge up. Make sure your feet are facing, or make sure your hands are facing your feet, and then you push your legs straight. You want to make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. Then I bend one knee, and I put my toe. Other side. Usually I have my gymnasts do about 5 of these each, then come down. Rock and roll again. So, if you're having trouble learning how to do a bridge, the best tip I have is to put your feet up on something higher and then make it so your hands are on the floor and then bridge up from there so you can get that shoulder mobility, because usually it's a shoulder mobility issue that's keeping you out of your bridge or from completely doing the full movement. But yeah, that's pretty much the stretch I do with all my gymnasts and one I do regularly myself. Dancers can do it, yogis can do it, gymnasts can do it. People who don't do any of those things can also do it. Hey, it's always great to learn new things, and I know all of us are pretty stir crazy right now with the pandemic going on. So, yeah, go ahead and try this video. You can do it with me, or you can watch and learn the movements. Keep practicing, maybe a few times a week, maybe every day, until you can do all of it yourself. And there's always room for improvement. For me, for everyone. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.